Hey everyone, I'm Bruno and this is episode 0 of my new, currently unnamed YouTube series. Most of you might know me from the Dota scene. If you do, you probably know that I don't stream normally, I never did a YouTube series, and I barely appear other than at tournaments or maybe some stuff that the Good Studio is. Thing is, I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, but I didn't know what to do exactly. I am very quiet when I play games, so I thought streaming myself is not really interesting. But I did have a lot of ideas about stuff I wanted to do. And the fact that we're building a new studio right now at the new house gave me a reason to actually start. Now, this is super ghetto as it is right now. I'm in my room, the microphone is not that great. And I mean, we're building a studio, for fuck's sake. I should be able to have something better. But I didn't want to wait until everything's over. So I will start from here and hopefully will improve what's around me little by little as we go on. Hopefully, I'll be able to release the first episode of the series later this week and maybe start releasing weekly after that. The idea of this episode is to introduce myself a little bit and the show so you get an idea of how it's going to be. This is not actually a proper episode, it's just an introduction, so let's start right away. And we'll start with myself, a little bit about my past first. I'm Bruno Carlucci, I'm 29 years old. I was born in Argentina, I'm Italian by heritage. I went to university and I studied computer science. I have a master's degree in computer science that I got when I was 22, and the year after that, I started teaching as a professor at the same university. I taught a lot of subjects. I taught algorithm and data structures. I taught databases, functional programming, and mostly for 5 years, I taught operating systems design, which is a subject that was really cool because you started pretty much from scratch from a computer that had nothing in it and ended up having a fully working operating system inside. It was kind of cool and super hard, but I really enjoyed it. At the same time, I also had my own software consultancy firm that I started with a friend of mine. We did a lot of solutions for businesses. We went for a lot of stuff from education to sports, specifically football or soccer for you Americans. We worked with the governments. We did a lot of very different stuff, and it was really cool to do that. But at the same time, I also had a really, really strong passion myself. And when I had some free time, I played Dota. I've been playing Dota pretty much since I first started the game, like 6-0 something. And I really, really got hooked into it. So when I heard that the international one was going to happen in Cologne, I just took a plane. I went there. I was visiting some friends in Europe as well, but I specifically went there. And suddenly, from there on, 1 year forward, I was at the panel at TI2, and that's where all this crazy stuff began. So now I'm here, and I do a lot of stuff for the Dota scene and esports in general. So what you probably know me for, I'm a panelist slash host slash guy with the suits or guy with the stats. You probably saw me at some TIs, at some Dream League, ESLs. I've been quite around. I did Star Ladder a few times as well. Uh, that's pretty much what most people know me for. I'm also a terrible, terrible caster. So I've casted some stuff, but normally I tend to ramble a lot, so it's not that cool. I try to limit myself to very unimportant games right now, and leave the casting to people that know how to do that much better than I. Um, and I also do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and this is actually like something that most people don't know about. They see me maybe 4 or 5 times a year, and they think that we don't do anything in between, but we actually do a lot of stuff. As my background as a developer allows me to do a lot of interesting coding stuff, I've worked in a lot of projects. Dota Academy was a statistics database. It's no longer since that Dota took over and started doing a great, great job and allowed me to stop doing that. The Fantasy League, the first Fantasy League was also related to that as well. It was not the one that Valve did. It was one on a website that you could create a team just like the Valve one did as well. It was kind of cool. It was kind of the precursor of everything that was also done by myself. I made the first public replay parser so you could parse your own replays and get information kind of like in the same way that Dota buffs does, but more specifically to cater your own needs. Now there's some guys called Scaddy that are doing something amazing like that. They have a project called Smoke. You can Google that. They're really, really awesome guys as well. I helped with a lot of overlay stuff as well. The Dream League, the pick and ban screen, was done by myself. Also some poll overlays and stuff that happened at the Go Studio and Go Studio related projects where the Twitch chat could interact with in different ways with what's happening in the stream. I did a lot of that stuff as well, and a lot of other stuff that I cannot even remember because I'm pretty much doing a different project each month. Um, Also, thanks to living with James Tuget Harding here, I learned a lot about how the esports scene works, and I helped produce and write a lot of shows and features. So a lot of the intros that you saw at the Dream League last season, stuff like the Suit Up Challenge, and all of the little segments that you saw at the EU Hub, like the late night show with Bruno, like the story time and stuff like that, were shows that were actually designed and created before going into the U-Hub with the idea of showing them and testing them there. Speaking about the U-Hub, the whole production and the whole event was also created and run by us. It was an amazing experience that we really, really want to repeat. We also consult with a lot of other companies. So a lot of the companies that are related to esports come to us like, we want to do this. What's the better way to do it? What's the best way to do it? How can we create a tournament format that's cool, that's fun? Who do we need to invite? How we do the LAN? We do a lot of that stuff as well, and that's like completely behind the scenes. And we get to work with a lot of interesting people that want to help esports as well. So that's great. So essentially, like what we do here, what I do here is we go with, okay, I have this crazy cool idea. Let's talk with someone of the lot of people we know. Let's tell them and let's make it happen. So normally I'm like, hey, I need a screwdriver and 500 euros to build something really crazy, like a robot. I'm building a robot right now. I don't want to spoil it. It's going to be something cool. I don't want to hype it too much either because it might be really stupid, but it's something that I think you're going to like it. If I get some people on board with it, we'll have some robotics going on in a future stream that we do at the Good Studio as well. So yeah, we do a lot of stuff like that. But now into the YouTube video, which is the interesting part. So when I said on Twitter, hey, I want to do a YouTube series, a lot of people had a lot of suggestions. So they were saying a lot of different stuff. And it was funny because every one of these could be a different show, but it would be a lot. So I decided, well, I cannot really choose a theme out of all these ones that I have here. Might as well just do something that doesn't have a specific theme in it and just go and change. Maybe one day I'll talk about something more Dota related. Maybe someday I will talk about something that has to do with stats. Maybe someday I'll talk about something that has to do with cooking. I don't know. We'll go around. And I know that this means that maybe sometimes you will like some more than others and you might not be interested in all of those, but I'll promise to try and make them as engaging as possible. And if you don't want to watch that because you're not interested in the subject, well, that's great. I mean, hopefully you'll meet us for the next video of the series as well. Specifically as well, I kind of wanted to do something like, okay, if we can help somehow coordinate this, maybe I could wear a shirt depending on the topic I'm talking about. So if I'm talking about Dota, I get an orange shirt, and if I'm talking about esports, I'm getting a purple shirt or something like that. And maybe you can look at the videos like, oh, purple shirt is the ones that interest me, and I don't care much about pink shirts. Or maybe I just wear a different shirt each episode, and you can be like, oh, did you check the episode with the flower shirt? That was really cool. And maybe that's a way for you to find episodes easier than saying, oh, I think it was episode 36.5, or maybe it was 22. We'll see what happens with that. That's ideas that I'm thinking about right now. But in any case, the first episode that's going to be shown probably later this week or at the beginning of next week is going to be an episode about something that people ask me a lot, probably the most asked questions when I get approached by people, which is, okay, I really like esports, or I really like Dota, or I really like Sing Sing. How can I help? How can I help? This is what everyone asks. Like, I have time, I'm a student, I want to help in esports. How can I help? And that's actually really tricky because sometimes it's easy because sometimes it's like, okay, I'm a graphic designer and they show stuff and it's great and it's very easy for a graphic designer to help in esports. Same with the developers, same with like, I don't know, a lot of different things. But sometimes you're like, I want to help, I have no real specific skills. How can I help? And that's a little bit harder because if you go just to people and try to help, when you just don't come with a skill to begin with, people will be like, it's fine, I can handle it myself. But that sometimes has to do with not understanding what everyone does in esports, and this is what this series is about. It's going to be a 2-video mini-series. The first part, we're going to talk about the different actors in the esports scene, so not who is who in terms of names, but rather like what a player is, what he does, what a team is and what they do, what a caster organization is, what a tournament organizer is, what a sponsor is, and every single one of the actors that have to do with esports. So if you understand exactly what they do, you might find, oh, I kind of think that I'm probably going to be able to help this specific thing. And the second part of the video series is going to be a series of ideas of how you can help each one individually. So if you once you know what everyone is, you still cannot figure out, well, I can tell you, well, if you want to help a player, these are a lot of things that will be really useful to players. If you want to help a team, these are a lot of things that are going to be really cool if you're a team and you could have. So with that in mind, that's going to be our next episode. In the meantime, if you want, you can subscribe to our channel. You'll have all the information about the YouTube series that's coming here, but as well, every other material that the Good Studio is going to be creating. And trust me, we're going to be creating a lot more stuff, mostly streams on Twitch, and we'll put the VODs here, but a lot of fun stuff as well. You can follow me on Twitter at StatsmanBruno as well if you want. I will be posting stuff there, and I always just like try to be funny on my Twitter and fail at it. And if you want to help, and this is like a great question because again, people are, how can you help? If you want to help here, this series still doesn't have a name. So if you think of a cool name for this series, just write it on the comments, tweet at me or something. And if I find a cool name, I will totally steal it, shamelessly. And maybe credit you about it, I don't know. Anyways, see you next video series. Have a good day.